So for the past couple years of my life, I've spent a lot of time researching the world's most productive people, and it helped correct a massive flaw that I was making. I used to think that productivity was about doing more. It was about putting more into your schedule. It was about getting more things done. I had all of these habits, all of these activities that I was doing, and I ended up running around like a headless chicken trying to tick off all of my to-do lists. In reality, productivity is more about doing less than doing more. It's about what you don't do rather than what you do. And after researching these incredibly productive and successful people, I recognized some patterns. There are 4 things that these incredibly productive people all don't do. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And before we get into the 4 things, another thing that productive people don't do is stop learning after formal education. The most productive people in the world get in the habit of learning every day and improving themselves through consuming knowledge. And one of the best ways that I found to do that is through Audible, which is the sponsor of today's video. The best thing about Audible is you get a massive range of audiobooks that you can download, and with audiobooks you don't have to carve out time to learning. So you can learn when you're on the go, when you're commuting, when you're doing the dishes, when you're going on a walk. And that allows you to very easily get in the habit of learning consistently. So if you click the link in the description, or go to audible.com/Andrew Kirby, or text Andrew Kirby to 500 500, you're going to be able to get a free trial of Audible and download a free audiobook. If you're looking for a book recommendation, I recommend you pick up 12 Rules for Life, which is going to give you 12 incredibly important rules which is going to allow you to improve yourself. So click the link in the description or go to audible.com/Andrew Kirby. So imagine this, there are 2 men, both standing up right next to a massive lake, and they're both fishing with a fishing net. One of the men is old, and he takes his net and he effortlessly throws it out as if he's done this millions of times before. The young man throws out his fishing net, holding a beer lazily, and he tries fishing. After a while, the sun sets and is replaced by the moon, and orange is dancing across the lake. The sunset is absolutely beautiful. The young man then packs up his stuff, he walks home. As he enters his home, the lovely smell of steak, chips, and salt enters his nose, and his wife calls out, "Hey, did you have a good time fishing?" He replies, "Yes, it was relaxing, but I didn't catch anything." The young man then went to bed, and the next morning decides to go out fishing again. He brings his net and he trudges along. As he gets out there, he sees in the distance a silhouette in the same position that the old man was in before, and as the younger man gets closer, the old man was still out there, a small smile on his face, slowly catching the fish, throwing out the net again and again and again. This young man looks at the old man and thinks, how does he do it? How does he stay out all night through the cold and continues fishing? The whole day goes by, the sun begins to set, and the water turns cold. The young man has still not caught anything, and he starts to shiver. His legs begin to quake, and he thinks of his wife at home tempting him with food. The young man starts getting frustrated. How does the old man have such discipline? The young man storms over to the old man and he says, "Old man, how do you do this? How do you stay out for so long, consistently throwing out your net and consistently catching fish? How do you have so much discipline?" The old man looks over to the young man. "Come with me," the old man says. "I want to show you how I have so much discipline." The old man slowly walks forwards and the young man follows, and eventually they end up at the old man's home, and as they open the creaky door, an old, frail woman calls out and says hello. The husband replies and says, "Hey dear, I'm home, love. But don't worry, I've got enough fish to last us for 2 days. Don't worry, I've caught us enough fish, we're going to be okay." The old man turns to the young man and he says, "This is how I have so much discipline. I don't work hard for the sake of working hard. I work hard because I have to." And that is the biggest flaw that so many of us make. Society has started to idolize working hard. We work hard for the sake of working hard, when in reality, we should only work hard because our why, our goal that we're trying to accomplish, needs us to work hard. But so many of us work hard for the sake of working hard, and if that's where we put our focus on, we're gonna end up action faking. We're gonna work hard solely so that we look like we're working hard, hard, not so that we're actually working hard. Yet the most productive and the most successful people on this planet never hustle for the sake of hustling. They hustle because they have to hustle in order to reach their goal. These super productive people let other people call them productive and hardworking. But to them, that's just what they have to do to accomplish their goals. So set your goal, figure out how hard it takes to reach that goal, then work that hard in that order. And this links to the second thing that the world's most productive people never do, which is wander aimlessly. You see, most people think that there is such a thing as objective productivity. Meditation is productive, watching TV or playing video games is unproductive. But that's not the case. There is no such thing as objectively productive. Productivity is relative. For some people, playing video games is productive if it's allowing them to relax or if that's what they want to do professionally. If you don't know where you want to get to, it's impossible to figure out whether or not you're making progress towards that goal. It's like going on a road trip. You set the end destination and then you see whether or not you're making progress to that end destination. The world's most productive people never wander aimlessly. If you do, you might end up setting a goal as working hard for the sake of working hard, or even worse, just setting a goal that society tells you to do. I'm doing it because that's what everybody does. This is a crime. Third of all, there's this book that not many people have heard of and it's really good. You see, most people read best-selling books, but if you only read best-selling books, you're only getting the information that the majority of people have. You want to be going after rare and valuable information. But anyway, this book is called The Score Takes Care of Itself by Bill Walsh. Bill was a transformative figure in NFL. He took his team from literally the bottom of the NFL to winning the Super Bowl in just 2 years. And he reveals his secret to how he did this in the book. And basically, the way he did this was by getting his team to focus on a few things. He got his team to focus on positioning, how they were passing the ball, the way they communicated with each other. He said, don't look at the score, put all of your focus on this, and then the score will take care of itself. I've noticed that the world's most productive people don't focus exclusively on outcomes, they focus on the processes as well. Because you can control the processes, but you can't directly control the outcomes. And I apply this to YouTube. I continually try and improve. I try and cram as much value as I can into this video. And when I mean value, I mean stuff that you can watch and think, oh, that's pretty cool. Implement in your life, benefit from it, and then come back and watch another one. That's what I try to do with these videos. And I know if I can do that, if I can get better at my craft, if I can make more valuable videos, then the views will take care of themselves. And if you're a student, focus on improving your logic. Focus on becoming better at researching, focus on writing better essays, focus on seeking out feedback and gathering it relentlessly. If you focus on that, then the grades will take care of themselves. It's not to say don't look at the grades, it's not to say don't look at the outcomes, but focus primarily on the processes and the outcomes will come. And finally, the fourth thing that these super productive people don't do, it's quite simple, but there's more to it, so hear me out fully. This is the thing that people like Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs say make the difference between an incredibly successful person and just a kind of successful person, but it's more complex than it sounds. Most productive people don't often say yes. Just listen to the Steve Jobs interview.
When you think about focusing, right, you think, well, focusing is saying yes, no. Focusing is about saying no. And the result of that focus is going to be some really great products where the total is much greater than the sum of the parts.
And the problem is, nobody else on this planet is ever going to value your time as much as you do. How you value your time determines the very upper limit for how the rest of the population is going to value your time. If you value your time a lot, then other people are going to kind of value your time. If you kind of value your time, of course other people aren't going to value your time. How you value your time sets the upper limit. You see, how you spend your time is a zero-sum game. If you spend your time on activity A, you cannot spend your time on activity B. You can't just create more time. We all have a limited amount of time, and therefore we've got to be incredibly careful with the things that we invest our time on. And also, if you say your yes to loads of different things, you're going to have divided focus. And with divided focus, there is divided results. This graphic sums it up well. But I know that saying no for some people is easier said than done, so I've included 2 different action steps that you can take in order to simplify this process. First of all is to get a deep emotional understanding about the importance of time. And if you waste that time, you can never get it back. If you focus on that fact, you dwell on that fact, it's easier to say no because you're now comparing 2 different options. Saying no is difficult, but wasting your time is even more difficult. So you want to compare it like that. Second of all, come up with default replies. You know in your life you're going to be offered lots of different projects or asked to do lots of different things. So take some time to come up with default responses that you can come up with, especially over email. I've linked in the description an application that you can download on your computer that you can use to automatically reply to texts or emails. I'll also include in the description my copy and paste response that I use through this hotkey so that you can set it up whenever someone offers you an opportunity. You can just reply with that message without having to think about it much. And if you've offered for me to be on your podcast, then I apologize. My response was just a copy and paste, but still, I am thankful for the opportunity, but no, because I'm staying incredibly focused on what I have to do. And whilst you're down there in the description, there's going to be an unlisted video that's going to show you how you can stop procrastinating. If you haven't already seen that unlisted video, go ahead and give that a watch. If you have already seen it, that's not a problem at all. I appreciate you for sticking around to the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one.